Welcome to TIA Now. I'm Clarence Reynolds. The march toward network virtualization has many service providers focused on infrastructure. As standalone and full solution testing takes place, questions remain about the true existence of a comprehensive and interoperable NFV infrastructure. Joining us via Skype from Carlsbad, California is Wayne Chung, Director of Product Marketing for Juniper Networks. Hi, Wayne. Thanks for joining us.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Now, Wayne, just to establish a starting point, how would you define comprehensive and interoperable in a virtualized network?
Sure. I think the phrase comprehensive and interoperable really need to translate to what it means for the business. And top of mind really is about how adaptive is the network that you're building going to be to achieve the business goals that you're striving for. So when we're talking about comprehensive, it's really going to be how extensible is that program that you're launching? Is it going to be extensible when the customer environments change and you're going to have to adapt and adjust to seize those opportunities? And so really laying down the foundations of a platform that enable you to capture those type of opportunities going forward is going to be key. It really means a lot about programmability. It means a lot about openness of the platform. That really is where it leads into the interoperability piece. Having that foundation laid out so that additional network services, whether they be virtualized or even physical in nature, can be integrated into the platform and services that you're building. And ultimately, that will drive a better success for your business in terms of being able to bring on the type of services that your customers are going to be asking for.
You mentioned open, adaptable, extensible. What are the benefits of an infrastructure with those characteristics?
Yeah, so I see the benefits around that being able to, once you've laid down the foundation of that, it allows you to capture those unique opportunities more quickly. If you have the proper analytics built into it, you can even gather some of the intent that your users are leveraging and being able to turn those into a bit more prescriptive actions of that. And what that means is that ultimately you can capture those opportunities faster than your competitors and being able to address that with a better customer experience, one that gives the end user more control. So it really delivers a more magical experience for the end user.
So Wayne, how would legacy network integration work in that environment?
Sure. So around the legacy, we really know that the OSS and BSS systems that are catering to the customer care or the billing systems or even the user portals need to be integrated. The last thing you want to do when you build out a new service is introduce a new portal or a new type of system to have to build against it. So having that open API of your platform and the services that you're building to integrate into some of those legacy billing systems or OSS systems is really critical. And let's not forget also the underlying infrastructure that you're layering this upon, having the ability to define the right SLAs around quality of service and so forth so that the experience that you're delivering meets the SLA requirements. So being able to integrate into the network environment that you're running these services over is also going to be critical.
And Wayne, could you project a timeline for legacy integration?
Yeah, the first round is always going to be the tougher round. So if you spend the investment of looking at a platform that has those open APIs and being able to integrate that will obviously launch you sort of faster into that integration process. But I would say the first time around, can take really kind of the traditional 6 to 12 months range of time. Once you've invested in that platform and built up a sort of a process flow, a set of APIs, then the second, the third round through is typically much faster, where they can condense those timelines into about 2 to 3 months.
Now, as it relates to the integration investment that you mentioned, would it be more cost effective to retrofit or rip and replace?
I'd say it's a mix of both. In terms of what we're looking at around, let's say, service orchestration, around building up a an end-to-end portfolio that can actually manage services and infrastructure across the board, there's value in looking at some new orchestration tools. But in terms of, let's say, a good example is SD-WAN. One of the last things you'd want to do in SD-WAN, where IPsec is an important element of encrypting the traffic, you wouldn't want to have to place a new IPsec gateway up in the cloud to be able to terminate all those IPsec, all that IPsec traffic coming through. So if you can integrate some of that infrastructure that you already have to support network services and being able to tie that in with some of the new services, that would be ideal. So I'd say it's a mix of both.
What kind of timelines are we looking at for large-scale deployment?
For large-scale deployment, we're starting to see the beginnings of some of that with some of the, I would say, US-based service providers, specifically around the likes of a virtual managed service. And they've spent some time really investing in building up the right processes, the right platform to deliver that. And we're now starting to see the beginnings of that going large scale, meaning, in market, going big with certain customers, as well as even taking that out of region and going into new market spaces. So I would say that we're starting to see the beginnings of some of that going big. We are also seeing some of that in the infrastructure side as well, in terms of infrastructure virtualization. Things even as simple as virtual route reflectors in a mobile network. We're seeing some of that take hold worldwide, even where 5G mobile growth is growing quickly. It allows them to scale up their networks fairly rapidly. So it depends on the use cases, but we're starting to see some of those really take hold.
So Wayne, would you say that virtualized networks are the only way to build greenfield deployments moving forward?
Well, no, I would say if we look at that question, maybe a little differently, in that, are we looking at virtualization being the one size fits all that solves for all problems? I wouldn't say so. I think that the virtualization side, the programmability side are definitely advantages in terms of speed of bringing new services to market and creating agility to adapt to situations. However, with virtualization, you can scale out with it, but there's a certain tipping point at times where the network capacity overwhelms potentially what you can do in a virtualized world. So there may be at points in time that tipping point where the economies of scale make sense even with physical equipment, and where that would be more advantageous to scale up. And a great instance of that would be just the aggregation of traffic from a broadband or a mobile network, being able to collect all that information and create policies against that. The volume of that might hit a certain point where throwing physical network infrastructure at that may allow you to scale up more economically instead of building racks and racks of servers to be able to support just the same. So it's a balance of the two, I would say, and finding the right economic balance against performance and scale is a deciding factor towards that.
Well, lots more to come on the NFV landscape. Wayne Chung from Juniper Networks, thank you for your input today.
Thank you for having me.
And we'd like to hear your thoughts on NFV infrastructure, so reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter. And you can also see all our videos on tianow.org. Thanks for watching.